Hello everyone, and today I want to talk a little bit about pan covers. Over the years, 30 some years or whatever it is that I've been trapping, I've used a variety of different pan covers. You probably have too. I've used everything from big leaves like sycamore leaves and things like that, to wax paper, to coffee filters, to polyfill and fiberglass screen and aluminum screen, and just a variety of different pan covers. And over the years I have really got down to where I only basically use 2 different pan covers, and that's really going to depend on the kinds of sets that I'm putting out. If I'm doing dirt hole sets and I am, putting dirt over my traps, sifting that dirt over there, or I'm using peat moss, or a mixture of maybe peat moss and dirt, I tend to use polyfill. And the reason I use polyfill, number one, is it's super easy, it's super cheap, it's easy for me to carry, and it works really well. I mean, this polyfill, even if it gets a little bit damp, even if it gets a little bit wet, it does not hold any water. I've never had it freeze. It's super easy to slide. I'll pull a piece of polyfill off of a bag. You can buy the bag at Walmart or any place like that. It's, I don't know, a couple bucks or $3 for this huge bag that'll last you all season for sure, probably. And I'll pull a little piece off, and it'll come off in a little piece like this, and then I'll usually get it and kind of wad it up in my hand. Of course, I've got my gloves on, and then it'll turn into like a little ball like this. And then when I'm setting my trap, I just slide this right up under the pan, and as I night latch my trap down, the pan will fit right on top of this. And this is basically just keeps the dirt and the peat moss and everything else from getting up underneath the pan. Even if you get a little bit of rain, even if it gets snowed on, anything like that, it keeps that dirt and stuff from settling underneath that pan. And that's really all you want, is just something to keep that from settling in there and getting up underneath your pan so that your pan doesn't fire. When it's super cold out, I'll bed the outside of the trap in dry dirt, maybe put a little bit of peat moss just in the bottom just to keep it from freezing, but not a lot, because it's hard to bed that trap properly, I feel, if you use a lot of peat moss. And then I'll bed it in dry dirt around there, and then I'll put a handful, usually just one handful, right inside the jaws over the top of my pan with this underneath it, and then a little bit of dirt over the top just to kind of blend it in. And even last year when it was 14, 15 below, I didn't have any of my sets freezing. Even if they got snow on the top, I just took a broom and knocked the snow off. Works really good, so I really like polyfill. The other thing that I use the most is an aluminum or a steel screen, and that's like this, the one that I have here in this trap. And I use this not all the time, but I do use it on any set that I know I'm going to have really bad weather. And by that, if I know I'm going to have really super bad weather for an extended period of time, a week or two of just lots of rain, maybe freeze thaw, that kind of stuff, I'll go to these, mainly because I'll change my sets up. I'll stay away from dirt holes if I know there's going to be a lot of rain, a lot of water. That I don't want the dirt holes filling up all the time, and I'll move to flat sets mostly, and I'll mix and match flat sets and dirt holes anyway, but I'll go almost exclusively to flat sets and pipe dream sets, the Mark Zager pipe dream sets. And if I'm definitely going to use a pipe dream set, I'm going to use the screen, because I'm going to follow that pipe dream set protocol basically, and just use grass or hay and things like that to cover the trap and make sure that I bed it properly and accordingly so it's solid, and then use hay and grass clippings and things over the top. If you're gonna do the pipe dream set, you pretty much have to use one of these screens to be able to keep that grass right up on top, and keep it from falling underneath there and going down inside the trap. The disadvantage that I find of the screens, if you've never used them before, is they can be kind of a pain in the ass to get to use. The fiberglass ones I don't use at all. They're just too flimsy. I can't keep them in there right. They're going to bow up and get bulges in them all the time. So you got to use the aluminum or steel ones. But even with that, I find that it's definitely a learning curve to get good at it so that you can keep them flat and keep them on your set. I have learned that I cut them a little bit big. It doesn't matter if there's a half inch or 3/4 of an inch outside of the jaws. That is completely irrelevant. And then I cut a big strip down the middle where the dog is going to go, and then I push it up underneath the jaw, up underneath there as I set it and night latch it, and then it'll sit. And as you can see, this one's set pretty good. It's got a little bit of a bulge in the middle, and then you can just pull on it and adjust it accordingly if you need to. But that's just kind of the process of using these steel screens. So those are basically the 2 pan covers I use. Combination, I'll have maybe 50 of these that I'll make with some screen that I'll buy at Lowe's or somewhere. I'll put them all in a big gallon Ziploc bag, and I'll just use them as I need them. And then I'll have another gallon Ziploc bag full of Polyfill, and I'll use that as I need it as well. So that is the 2 kinds of pan covers that I use. Hope that helps, and good luck on the trap line.